Woohoo! Welcome to Odds.com's breakdown of UFC Vegas for Poirier, Hooker, and we've brought our best MMA analysts. We've rounded them up for a big Tuesday night show here at Odds.com. We got cappers in the chat ready to get after it, and we've got cappers on the screen ready to get after it. Big shout out to our guests on tonight's show. First off, star of the Die Hard MMA podcast, Clint. What's happening, my man?
What's going on, Jimmy? Welcome back. Good to see you and my boys. We got Mo and Nick. I'm loving it. I look forward to Tuesdays every week now, thanks to this show.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. It is a lot of fun. I got a drink poured, and I'm ready to get after it. Boston, Nick, my man. How are you doing, Mr. Fatfist?
Same old hooking and jabbing, sticking and moving, ready to cash some bets as usual. You know me.
I do, and I love it. And then Big Mo back in action. Mo, we missed you last week. How you doing, my man?
Doing all right, Jimmy. Hey, good to be back. Hey, I just want to know real quick, who left Clint out of the hat club? Huh? Hey, Clint. Hey. Come on, brother. Oh. Sean, go there he is.
There we go.
Fixed it.
We have a big fight card, the last North American fight card for a little bit, and an exciting one at that. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat joining us on this Tuesday evening. Alexis Zavada says, let's go, boys. Let's get some live dogs. We got DX Filer in the house. Timothy Topher says, Worthy is live at plus 230. Timothy says, Tisha was still the freest money there's ever been. Great call, you guys, on Tisha last week. Just my 2 cents, ready to get to work. Ryan Bottinelli, Quincy Brown, the Beach Boss, the Hobo Pope, Bob Taylor, JT MMA, Matt Campbell, Gerardo Hernandez, Robert Kahn, the fight analyst in the house. Man, we got great cappers in the chat. Alex Ramirez, the Spidey play of the day. Let's get after it right now. We are going to start on the preliminary card. Break down this preliminary card. We're going to start with a featherweight bout. 5'10" American Jordan, the native Psycho Griffin. 18-7-0 is his professional MMA record. He opens up at Bet365 at minus 125, a slight favorite. It is now a pick'em at Bet365. Money coming in on 5'10" Youssef, the Moroccan Devil Zalal. 8-2-0. Opens as a slight dog at plus 100. Now a pick'em at minus 110. Let's go to the star of the Die Hard MMA podcast. The first thing I see in the chat is our man Quincy Brown saying coin flip. Clint, is this a coin flip?
Jimmy, this is a great fight. It's an excellent spot, and I don't see it as a coin flip myself. I think there's a certain specific side that's got some value, and you know me, I like to start the card off with some action. I've got a bet on this one, Jimmy. So we've got Jordan, the native Psycho Griffin. He trains out of Rufus Sports, so he's with guys like GM3, Anthony Showtime Pettis, and that gym is kind of steadily doing this thing. They're not really on the right trajectory right now. They've got those shiny spots, good moments, but he's a fighter who's almost always losing until the moment that he wins. He's a comeback kid. He's super dangerous, got great submissions, but he's very, very hittable, and he can get worked. This kid, Youssef Zalal, comes out of Factory X, so he's in a good team. He's very rangy, exceptionally athletic, very good movement. He's going to be able to stick and move from the outside. He lands these heavy body and leg kicks, good head movement, a very dangerous step-in knee, and he's got a great gas tank. This kid can hit takedowns and grind his opponents out. He's always in shape. I like Youssef Zalal here, and you know what? That line has moved, Jimmy. He wasn't a pick'em to begin with, and your boy locked up underdog money, plus 115 on Youssef Zalal a little while back. So I got my first dog of the night locked and loaded.
Youssef Zalal, the first dog at the night. No longer a dog. Matt Campbell says Zalal all day. Big Mo, what do you think of the way Clint's starting off his card?
Hey, I love it when me and Clint agree at first. Just when you watch this tape, you have Zalal. He comes out real kick heavy. But the thing that he does that separates him, really good left to right movement. So in the small cage, it's going to be really hard to press him up against the cage. And let's say he does, I think Zalal's the better grappler anyway. The only place that Griffin might be better here is the boxing, because you don't see Zalal throw a whole bunch of hands, but it's because he's moving so much. A lot of kicks up the middle, a lot of leg kicks. He's really good at cutting angles, blasting double legs, getting it on the ground, throwing up darces. I think the play is Zalal here. Griffin always seems to be losing until he's not. And in the UFC, out of 3 fights, he's only made the comeback once. In all 3, he was getting beat. So I think the pick here is Zalal.
Yeah.
Zalal. We got 2 of our cappers on Zalal. Do we have them all on the Boston, Nick? What do you think?
I mean, honestly, I can tell you this much. I locked in Zalal at plus 105 as well. What, a minus 120 right now? Listen, Griffin has been –
There we go.
He got rocked by TJ Brown in the first 10 seconds in that fight by a jab, and he was taken down over 6 or 7 or 8 times, and he was taken down at will. Only reason why Griffin actually won that fight is because he slipped in a nice little guillotine when TJ Brown started to gas later in the second, and he actually got that guillotine while Brown was in side control. It was kind of a lucky guillotine, in my opinion, lucky submission. And I like Zalal here. You guys basically copied my work here. Zalal likes to move around, uses angles well, got a great step-in knee. I heard Clint just say that. I mean, the only thing that worries me here is the small cage. He will not be able to use that movement, I think, as well as, like he usually does. But I don't think that's a big difference here because I know for a fact from the tape work I've done that he has better wrestling and better grappling than Griffin. So that being said, that's why the line rate has flip-flopped in the last 24 hours or so. I'm just lucky I got him at plus 105.
The other thing we didn't mention, Jimmy, is that Griffin is on a short turnaround. He was scheduled to fight 2 weeks ago. He already peaked. He was cutting the weight. His opponent got pulled off the card. That's not something you can reset easy. So he's going to have to cut all that weight again, and these guys try to peak exactly at fight time. You can't get that back in 2 weeks. So he might be a little bit of a drained version of himself.
Tony Ferguson.
A couple of these, and I was going to ask Clint or Nick, have y'all been keeping up with the stats as far as, because we've seen this a couple times now, the quick turnaround? Are they losing consistently? Or? Yeah.
Hannah Cypher's lost. Go on and on. I mean,
I think the only one to win is my Boston Knicks boy,
Charles Rosa.
Charles Rosa is the only one so far to pull the quick turnaround and actually get it done.
Well, Clint, what do you think of MMA Locker Room who says Griffin is better on the mat and grappling?
So I would tend to agree with what he's saying, but I also agree with Nick. I know that sounds like I'm contradicting myself, but there's a difference between wrestling and grappling. I believe our kid Zalal is a much better wrestler, so the smaller cage will favor him, whereas Griffin probably has better jiu-jitsu, but that means he's going to be fighting off of his back. And if Zalal doesn't want it to go to the mat, it's not going to go to the mat. I don't know that Griffin's going to be able to get him down, whereas Zalal is going to be the one to make that choice. So if he uses his movement kind of like Mo was talking about, that side-to-side, staying outside, he should be able to. If he's not using that, he wants to go for the takedown, he's going to decide that he's on top. Griffin's going to have to find an opportunity to scramble or sweep to get on top, to use his grappling, and I don't know if he's going to be able to.
In your base. Bottom line, in the UFC, any organization, you have to have a good base, and it has to be wrestling. And that being said, I heard in an interview Griffin's been drilling nonstop as wrestling in his camp, but how much has he been drilling it during COVID? You know what I mean? It's been 4 months since he fought last. Has he really improved that much in the wrestling department during COVID? No, there's no way. He hasn't had the training partners to do it. It's impossible to become an actual wrestler in the UFC that's going to do something, or at least his takedown defense. And that being said, I believe this is easy money on Zalal. The only way that he wins this fight, Griffin, is snatching some sort of submission.
So before we move on to the next bout, I want to ask Big Mo a question that's being brought from the chat. From our man Nilo, says, "How have you guys factored in the smaller cage? Who does it really benefit, the grappler or the striker?" Big Mo is
the grappler all day, Jimmy. Because you have somebody that's a striker. Let's say that they're looking to move back to counter strike. Well, one, you don't have as much room to move backwards, and a lot of people train in a smaller cage, but almost everybody fights in a bigger cage. So, you get that feel. I guess it's just kind of like a mental thing as well. And also, it's a lot easier for grapplers to get the striker behind the black line. And when they're behind the black line, it's a couple strikes, level change, and then all of a sudden they're on the cage. So I think this is like a 20-foot cage compared to like a 233 or something like that. It's quite a bit smaller, I believe. So, it super benefits the grappler.
Why did you just like the plus 105 or plus 100 line you were getting? Because here, JT MMA says Zalal by decision is the most logical pick in his opinion.
I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nick.
I don't mind Zalal by decision. I actually see this probably going all 3 rounds, to be honest. And I just think that Zalal just beats him everywhere. Unless obviously there's been a lot of finishes in the small cages as well, so you can't count that out, totally. But I don't mind Zalal by decision, but I got him at plus 105 dog odds. I'm not going to take any chances when I already got plus odds.
Griffin never stops, too. You got to put Griffin away because Griffin, even when he's tired, I don't remember which fight it was, but Paul Felder was doing the commentary on it, and he was, I guess, training with him at that time, or they still do. And he was saying that, hey, Griffin's tired right now. He's just running off crazy. Because he just comes, looks for guillotines a lot. So even in the third, if he's gassed, you still got to look out. But I think Zalal is going to be smart, put his head in places on like doubles and singles that Griffin's not going to be able to snatch that neck up. And I think Zalal is going to get half guard side control. I think Jack Attack JT MMA is right in the sense of probably Zalal by decision is probably the play.
Not to mention Lingo in his last fight, Zalal, when he fought Lingo, he was a minus 500 favorite. Not Zalal, but Lingo was.
Yeah.
So he and everybody's cherry pie, if you know what I mean. So he was hugely undervalued, and he was Lingo was hugely overhyped, and I think people are starting to catch on to Zalal. I watched a lot of tape on him. He's just so well-rounded. He really is.
He keeps his hands down low. That's one thing that I kind of worry about. He keeps his hands down low and tries to dip from side to side. But Griffin, he might pay for that later, but I don't think Griffin's going to make him pay for that.
Yeah.
Matthew S. says, give us a lock on this card. If you had $3,000 to put on one fighter to win, who would it be? I will ask him that question, but not off the top. Matthew S. You got to stick with us a little while. Shout out to everybody joining us. We're through one fight. And we have a lot more to go. Preliminary card and main card to break down. JT MMA, Cynthia Paniagua, the fight analyst, MM Mako in the house. Proud of Henny Boy, Josh and Bones, Timothy Topher, Quincy Brown, Matt Campbell, Walla Walla Dose, Nilo, MMA Locker Room, Maxwell Smart, Beach Boss, Alex Ramirez. Okay, let's keep rolling. We move into a women's strawweight bout. Both fighters making their UFC debut. 5'3" American Kay Hansen, 6'3" 0, opens up at minus 150 at Bet365. That's where she stands right now, going up against 5'2" American Jin Yu Frey, 9-4 0 is her professional MMA career. Opening at plus 125, still right there as we speak. Jin Yu Frey, the dog. Let's go to Big Mo. What do you think of this strawweight bout?
Man, this one right here could go either way. You watch tape. Frey, she's more of the striker. She is, a lot more athletic as far as her striking, her, her in and out movement. But the thing is, she does get taken down. She strikes at a real low volume, like a 1-2, a one leg kick. She is the older. She's 35, 36. We got Kay Hansen coming in, 20, 21 years old. She's
15 years age gap.
Yeah, she's coming in. She's the grappler. She's real flat-footed. So she could get caught with something from, like, if you watch the tape on Frey, she has a nice little check left hook that she catches a couple people with. But just such low volume, I think Kay is going to be able to get up and under her strikes, level change, double legger. She's only been to decision twice, I believe, 2 or 3 times Kay has. She has some submissions on her record. Frey, she seems to survive. I can't figure out which way I'm going as far as how she's going to get it done, but I think Kay Hansen gets it done here, Jimmy.
Kay Hansen gets it done is Big Mo's look. Let's go to Mr. Fat Fist. Do you agree on the favorite Kay Hansen?
I do. I mean, Frey, this is her first fight at 115 pounds. She's a former Invicta atomweight champion. This is her first fight in the UFC. I think she relinquished the belt in 2018, or that's when she got the belt. I can't remember. Frey is going to have to stuff Hansen's takedowns to be successful in this fight. If she doesn't, it's going to be a long night for her. And from the tape work I've seen on both these girls, I feel like Hansen will be able to take her down at will. she likes to more of a position over submission type chick. You know what I mean? Just kind of ride it out, top control, stuff like that. She will definitely be the bigger girl in this fight. So I like Hansen a lot here. I'm thinking about placing a bet on it as well. I mean, Frey is 35 years old. Hansen is 20. She's not even done growing yet as a girl. So, yeah, it's Hansen. It's Hansen or pass for me at this point.
The fight analyst says might be one of the easiest fights for Hansen. Clint, take it away. Do you agree with the boys?
You know what, Jimmy? This one, I've got to go ahead and give a shout out to my boy Gabe Killian. He's in the chat hanging out with us today. And I slipped up. When I was looking into this one, this was one of the fights that got thrown together right before my podcast went live. So when I dug into it, I missed the fact that Kay is actually used to being the bigger woman when it comes to Invicta. Both these girls are coming over from Invicta. Jinh Frey is the 105 former atomweight champion, and I thought that Kay Hansen was an atomweight as well. Turns out she's fought at 115 and 125 in her career, so she's going to be used to dealing with much larger women, and that skews my perspective here. I was fully planning on taking Jinh Frey, but after hearing that and figuring that out, realizing she's competing with much larger women, even though they should stand toe-to-toe relatively evenly. Jinh Frey is a big woman for 105, and I think she's going to fit right in there at home at 115. That is a little scary. The thing for me is that Hansen is still very young, extremely young, and she makes mistakes. I've seen her make mistakes in her last couple of fights, and her opponents simply haven't been able to make her pay for them. Jin will make her pay for them. She's a champion caliber fighter, and honestly, I feel like this line should be a pick'em, even with the weight differential. I want to see them at weigh-ins. I want to see them face off and see if there is a significant size advantage or not. Jin is a solid grappler herself, and I think if this ends up being a grindy wrestling type of event, which in the small cage, we know it stands a very good chance of being, I think there might be some sneaky value on Jin. She's just got that veteran savvy experience. And when you've got a 20-year-old kid, if they slip up once, that's all it takes. And if Jin has the opportunity to take advantage of something like that, she can grind her out from top position or maybe lock up some kind of a submission. I don't want to lay this kind of price on Kay Hansen. The last time I did that was Chase Hooper, and boy, did I pay for that. So I'm not touching that side.
I got it. Clint, what about Hansen by decision? Both these girls, they tend to fight the decision. And if you're betting this fight, I would look into a fighter to win by decision if you're going to bet either or.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely one. But the line is in the area where it's fine to play straight. And I got a little fancy a couple weeks back, taking a couple fighters by decision, and they both finished. So I coughed up 2 units, and it was disgusting. I should have had a break-even night, and instead I was down over 2 units because I got a little fancy. So especially if you're looking at the Jin side of things, why complicate it? You're getting plus 140, just take her straight. If you want to take K by decision to try and get even money, or plus 110, okay, but minus 160, it's not that bad.
You're right. If I can't get more than plus 120 or more, I wouldn't bet it by decision. I would take it straight.
There's
I like
not enough value.
Being younger. Okay, y'all talk about her making mistakes, but I kind of look at it as she has more room to grow. So being young, you're like a sponge. You're absorbing stuff. She trains at 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, so her Jiu-Jitsu game's getting better. Just like Nick said, she seems more of a control position over submission position. Go to half, go to side, throw some elbows. If something opens up, she goes for it. But yeah, I like that 10th Planet. I think she's a purple.
She's a purple belt, I think.
Yeah. I mean, purple belt, 10th Planet. That's a nice little look on that. Being 20, I think she has more room to grow. So
the only point for me there, Mo, is that her last fight was 3 months ago, and with COVID-19 running around, people aren't getting the kind of training and stuff like that they're used to. You give her 6 months between fights, I'm right there with you. But I don't know how much she's improved in the last 2-3 months.
True.
Yeah, true that, brother.
There you have it. That's the second fight on the preliminary card. Let's keep rolling. We move on to a welterweight bout. 5'10", Japanese-born Takashi Sato. 15-3-0 is his professional MMA record. Opens up at minus 163 at Bet365, is now minus 150. Some money coming in on his opponent. 5'10" American Ramiz Brahimaj. 8-2-0. Opens up plus 138. Now down to plus 125. That's where it is. Let's go to Boston. Nick, Sato Brahimaj, what's your look here?
I mean, Sato's a pancreas fighter for many years. He won his UFC debut against Ben Saunders. And it wasn't a Ben Saunders that we all know. It was a Killer B that was about to retire, okay? CTE Killer B, let's put it that way. So, I mean, Sato is a striker, and his only losses in the past 2 years have come by submission. Now, on the other hand, Brahimaj, I can't pronounce his name correctly, he looks for that takedown from bell to bell, and he's great at that double leg, which he likes to switch right to the back right when his opponent starts to stand up. He tries to take that back right away. He's very explosive in the clinch, and I believe right now he's 8-2 as a pro, right? Yep, and all 8 wins have came by submission. So as of Sato's career, his only losses have came by submission. So I like Brahimaj here. What are the odds we're getting on him though right now?
Right now, Brahimaj is at plus 125. Opened at plus 138 at Bet365. It's now down to plus 125.
He's been getting bet up. He was even worse. He was even better than that before. I think I'm gonna have to get that bet in right after we stop the show because it's probably gonna get a little bit worse, kind of like the Zalal line. I like Brahimaj, so however you pronounce his name.
We are on the 5'10" American Ramiz Brahimaj to start this. That's Boston Nick's look right now, and he wants to get it in as soon as possible as the market is moving towards him. Clint, what do you think of our man Boston Nick's look here?
Well, Nick, you know I hate going head-to-head with you, buddy.
I know.
So I won't. I got a 2 times play on Brahimaj, my man. I'm on the same side as you, my boy.
Let's go.
I am buying in on Brahimaj. I love this guy. He's training out of Fortis MMA. It's one of my favorite up-and-coming gyms right now. And he's training with guys like Geoff Neal. He's training with Bilal Muhammad. He's only a BJJ purple belt, but kind of like my man Mo said, this guy is getting better every single time. He's a young rising star, 27 years old, just now coming into his prime. And what I like to see out of him is even though in those 2 losses, he lost by decision, dude never quits. He's a lot like the native Psycho Griffin that we talked about earlier, that he just has that tired energy. He finds a way to dig deep. He finds a way to keep going, and he sticks himself in the fight and keeps on trying, even when he is tuckered out. Now, the thing with his opponent here, Takashi Sato, he struggled a little bit in his UFC debut, which normally speaking wouldn't be such a bad thing. But like Nick said, it was against a shot Ben Killer B Saunders. You shouldn't be struggling with that man. No. So then he looked a little better against Bilal Muhammad, but Bilal Muhammad's going to do what he's going to do and subs him out in the 3rd round. So we're not exactly sure where Sato lands in the UFC. He could be decent, but he also could be garbage. We'll find out this week. He's a judo black belt. I don't want to speak ill of him. Dude's got skills, but I do think that his striking is relatively limited, and I don't think he's anywhere near as good as Brahimaj is on the mat. So if Brahimaj can get this thing down to the ground, he can sub him out. And with the smaller cage, there's a decent chance he can grind out a decision with some takedowns because Sato just doesn't throw enough volume to win on the judges' scorecards. I think we have a submission opportunity, a ground and pound TKO opportunity, and a potential squeaky razor-thin decision opportunity. I'll take the dog, and I got 2 units. I got that early line at plus 145, Jimmy.
Plus 145 for Clint. So we have Nick and Clint on Brahimaj. We have Jeff D saying, Boss, Nick, and Clint, I agree. Brahimaj will get this win. And then Beach Boss saying, no, oh, my friends.
If he wins, that's probably how he wins, is by TKO, Beach Boss.
Well, let's hear what our man Big Mo has to say about this spot here. Sato Brahimaj.
All right, guys. All right. So I'm sure we all watched the same tape. So we all know. Hey, how do you say it again, Jimmy?
Brahimaj.
Brahimaj. Hey, my man, nice high guard. Nice head movement. Comes in. Doesn't really cut the cage off well. He just throws to clinch. He's not, I mean, he's throwing wild bombs. He's just trying to get the clinch. Not really shooting blast doubles to get his takedowns. If he was shooting blast doubles, I would be all over this guy.
Brahimaj?
Yeah. 8 wins,
great double
8 submissions. You had your turn. So then, hey, so if I see him taking him down, I see him trying to get him against the cage, clinch, try to, take him down that way. But just like my man Clint said, probably the one place where Sato is the best is right there. He has a black belt in judo, excellent balance, has a nice wide base when somebody's trying to take him down. His only really offensive weapon is his straight down the middle. He has a nice straight down the middle, throws real low volume. Man, this is a tough one. I want to be like the guys and go Brahimaj by submission, but I don't think this is the dog. I'm going to take a dog later on. Don't worry, it's probably not going to be the one that everybody wants, but I'm going to take it. But this isn't the one I'm going to take. I'm going to take Sato by decision right here. I think he's going to be able to tire out Brahimaj. He seems to get real tired. Every single time he's been outside the second round, he's been to a decision. He looks super gassed, just like the boys said. He keeps coming. You take him down. He gets up. He gets like a zombie walking around. Maybe Sato can clip him with that one straight down the middle, but I think this is going to be a decision win by Sato.
Brahimaj's only 2 losses are by decision, but then his other, he's 8-2, and those other 8 wins are all by submission finish. So, I mean, I heard what you're saying there on that one. I just don't think Sato has it on the mat for him.
If he drags him to the mat, Bilal did the same thing. Then you did it to him twice throughout that fight, but the second time he got him down, locked that body triangle in, worked his hand movement. He was going one way, nice slick move. He tricked him, slipped it like other way, bam, bam, thank you, ma'am, Sato. And Sato tapped quick, if you notice. On the choke like that, you see like Holly Holmes, she'll go out. Man? You can go out. Sato tapped real quick. So if Brahimaj gets that choke, he has an elite squeeze, he's probably going to tap.
Very interesting takes, and the cappers in the chat liking Mo's look here. Sato by decision. There you have the third fight on the preliminary card. We're going to bang right into a heavyweight bout here. 6'2" Brazilian Philipe Monstro Lins. Lins' 14-4-0 professional MMA career opens up as a pick'em, and that's where it stands at Bet365. Open the pick'em, and that's where it stands. Going up against a 6'2" Canadian. Oh, by the way, these Canadians have been looking pretty good the last few weeks here in the octagon. Tanner the Bulldozer Boser. 17-6-1. Pick'em. Clint, what do you think here? Can we back this Canuck?
I love my Canucks, Jimmy. We got Jillian Robertson last event out. She came through for us. And Boser, he's a true Canadian, man. He's missing teeth and everything. So I love this guy. He's ready to go.
Dude, mullet game is on point. Big beard. Playing those games.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to this one, Jimmy, and I'm contemplating making a move. We've got Philipe Lins, who won the PFL $1 million tournament, and I missed an opportunity by just that much. Didn't quite pull the trigger when he faced Andrei Arlovski in his last fight. He came out, he got beat up by the old man. He got that veteran savvy put on him when he came over to the UFC.
It was a close one.
Hey, the value is all on that big old dog, baby.
True, very true.
But here's the point. If you are getting outpaced and outpointed by Andrei Arlovski in the UFC, that puts a ceiling on exactly how far you can go. I am not sold on Lins, Jimmy. He has low volume. He has extremely low output, and he relies on his knockout power. And I just don't know if he's going to be able to knock a guy like Boser out. Boser's got a great thick skull. He's got a hard chin. Dude never gets up. And he's got an impressive output rate. He's always attacking with leg kicks and body kicks. I think he's just going to score more on the feet. And I'm not blind. I've seen the reports out there that Lins is going to take this thing to the mat, but I haven't seen a whole lot of evidence of his ability to do so. And Boser is no slouch in the takedown area. So I just don't trust Lins to come in here and be able to get it done. We already talked about these fighters on the quick turnaround not having a good record so far, and Lins is one of these guys. He's going to be coming back in just a couple short weeks. So you expect me to believe he's turning his entire game plan upside down and is going to go with something that we haven't seen him do a whole lot and be successful with it at the UFC level? Boser was a guy that was able to hang in there with Cyril Gane, who's a true UFC heavyweight prospect. I like Boser here, Jimmy. I'm sitting back and I'm waiting because I know that money is coming in on Lins. And if I can get a nice little plus line on Boser later in the week, that's my angle. That's the way I'm going to go. But as long as it's this pick'em price and I'm not getting that plus sign next to my ticket there, I'm not going to pull the trigger yet.
The bulldozer Boser, if Clint can get a plus sign beside the Canadian. Let's go to Big Mo. What do you think about Big Boser here?
I love how my boy Adam Withers and Jack Attack are thinking. We're going Boser, huh? Hey, something that he's going to do that we're going to see that's going to come into effect tonight is leg kicks, fellas. Leg kicks are here. Y'all going to hear me say it, and y'all going to be like, dang, I wish you would shut up about them leg kicks. They're here to stay, fellas.
Go, sir. Preach it. Preach it.
They're here to stay, fellas. And we ain't hitting quads. No, we ain't hitting quads. We're hitting calves, baby. Can I get an amen?
Testify.
Hey, we're hitting calves, all right? And just like Clint said, Boser's real good at movement for a heavyweight, all right? Philipe Lins coming up, light heavyweight, lot of – man, I done pop myself on that one. My bad, guys. I lost character. My bad. So, hey, bottom line, Boser's got a granite chin. That beard helps. Sweet mullet. Good movement for a heavyweight. He's fought true big dudes. You go watch tape on dude. Dude's fought some monsters. And he's just good at cutting angles. Has a really big overhand. We all know what Lins does. He likes to do this. He throws. Yeah. He just tries to catch you in these little bitty short hooks and these little bitty flurries as he's going backwards. Or let's say he's going forward. He just steady, just throwing just flurries, not straights. He's throwing these little bitty short little baby hooks. And I think that Boser's going to be able to use his movement, leg kick, chop his legs up. And, everybody likes to think that a lot of heavyweight fights are going to be finished. I think this is going to be one of them that goes to a decision. This might be a popcorn and a fireball match. Is that what you're calling it?
Yep, fireball and popcorn, baby. Do your shot, sit your ass down with a bowl of popcorn, and enjoy.
That's weird that you just said that. Just weird, because in my writing here is I want no part in this fight. Fireball and popcorn. I will show this.
It's a thing.
Weird.
Fireball and popcorn is it? You're welcome.
We are one.
I'm not even joking. I'll show it to you afterwards, Clint. But listen, Boser's coming off a loss to Sara McMann, and but I mean he also beat Spitz, right? I'm more impressed in his loss to Sara McMann than I am in him beating Spitz. He took everything Gain had to. Literally every shot, took it, and he had his moments with Gain as well. And that guy is a monster on the mat and on the feet. That being said, though, Boser, like you were saying, his kicks, that's what's going to come into play here, I think, if he does get the W. He's going to have to plant and just land those heavy kicks on Philipe when he's coming in, because that's what he's going to do. He's going to come in, he's going to, just like with Arlovski, and try to pressure him. This is Boser or pass. I want to see the weigh-ins as well, but I think I'm just going to go rock with Clint. Have some popcorn, drink some Fireball, a little bit of Miller Lite, and call that one a day. But I am.
Hey, you gonna rock with Clint, bro? We're gonna be live together. What are you talking about? You're gonna rock?
I'm rocking with Clint.
What are you talking about? Huh? Hey, you're gonna be gigging it with me. All right.
Most of all, though, like I said here, is those kicks are gonna play dividends, I believe, with if he does implement them. And like I said, he's got a chin and a half. If you're not getting knocked out by Sara McMann, you're not getting knocked out by Lins. So that being said, it's Boser or pass for me. Lins, last fight I took him against Arlovski. I don't think I can take him again. He kind of pooped in my apple pie, and I got a bad taste in my mouth, if you know what I mean.
All righty, there you have it. The bulldozer being liked by our guys on the screen and in the chat. Let's keep rolling through this preliminary card. You are watching the odds.com breakdown of Poirier Hooker. Next up, we have a women's flyweight bout, 5'6" Italian Romero Borella, 12-8-0. Opens up at Bet365 as a plus 240 dog. That's where she stands right now. Going up against 5'3" American Miranda Maverick. 7-2-0 is her professional MMA career record. Minus 300 favorite. Big Mo, do you agree with Maverick at minus 300, or are you going to figure out a way to get the juice lessened? What's your move here on this fight?
Well, let's see. Miss Miranda Maverick, 5-fight win streak. She looks like a beast to me. She comes out, she thinks she's a striker at first. Like, she likes to kind of play her range, side kicks to the body, body kicks, little pot shots, pop, 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 hit angles. But then she always ends up shooting takedowns and getting the grappling going. And then that's where she seems like she's pretty strong. Even if she's on her back, she's always trying to get sweeps. She's let's see here. She has 5 subs. She has 7 wins. 5 are by submission, and 2 are by decision. Her subs are neck crank and rear naked choke, guillotine, and armbar. So she has a different array of ways that she could take you out. And Borella, what's a nice way I can say this, is stupid. She has really bad fight IQ and just finds her ways into submissions, finds her ways into being finished. I think she's on, I don't know if it's some kind of record, but I think in every single one of her UFC fights, Borella has found her, like, has found it to the ground. So she's good at getting takedowns. She just makes stupid moves. I'm pretty confident on Maverick here. I don't know if she's going to get the finish. I don't know if she's going to get the submission. Got to dig a little bit more into it, but the play for me here is Maverick. This is probably a nice little parlay piece for you, boy.
Maverick as a parlay piece. Boston, Nick, what do you think of that look from our man Big Mo?
Well, you guys know me. I hate Borella.
What are you talking about? Hey, don't you got a tattoo on your lower back that says Borella?
Yeah, listen, she's a jobber and a drug smuggler. That's the last person I would get a tattoo of.
Yours says glitter.
That being said, last month, Courtney Casey destroyed her in 3 minutes and 36 seconds into the first round by armbar, and she was coming up from 115 to 125 in that fight. Miranda Maverick, on the other hand, is really undersized here. She's, 5'3", so I think she has about a 3-inch height disadvantage, and then she's a 4-inch reach disadvantage as well. But watching tape, she wants to get into that takedown area and advanced position from there. I mean, she looks to pass and pass from guard, and then she also likes to go to side and then to mount and force her opponent to give up her back. That's what I think is going to happen here with Borella. I think eventually this is going to hit the mat and not in Borella's favor. I think Maverick's going to take her down and end up getting some sort of mount, raining down punches. Maybe she gives her a back and subs her. If Courtney Casey can sub Borella coming up from 115 to 125, and Borella is supposed to be that jiu-jitsu, she's supposed to have the better jiu-jitsu in that matchup. I don't see it happening here. Another quick turnaround, right, Clint? Borella?
So not only another quick turnaround, my guy, but a double quick turnaround. This is another one of those spots where the UFC probably said, hey, you don't have a job anymore, but we need a fighter this weekend, so take it or leave it. She fought on February 15th, May 16th, and now she'll be fighting again this weekend. So she's been very, very active, and I don't think it's by choice. I think it's by necessity in this one.
Yep, and what separates this fight, in my opinion, yes, she has to work on her stand-up a bit, Maverick, but within the scrambles and all that, she's amazing, and the cardio is where it separates this fight. Horrible cardio for Borella. Maverick has some sick cardio. She'll go all 3 rounds at one pace, and that's why I like Maverick here. She's 22 years old. I'm not sure how old Borella is. I don't really care. She can go back to Italy. Oh, wait, she can't go back to Italy. She's banned for 26 years for drug smuggling, so she can go wherever she wants to, but I believe she'll be cut soon after this fight when she loses.
So, Clint, is this a parlay piece? Are you using Maverick in your action?
She's 34, Nikki Helbows, just so you know.
Wow, okay.
And Jimmy, this chick could be 0-5 in the UFC. She won a split to Talita Santos. The only thing that I think my boys failed to mention is that she gasses hard in round 3. I don't know if anybody said that. I think that's the only piece that they missed, if they missed that. Borella gasses hard. She runs out of energy.
I think cardio here is all over Maverick and horrible cardio. Bam. Okay,
she's a solid play. I don't like to use the L word, Jimmy, but if there was
don't use it, Clint. We ain't trying to jinx that this week, bro.
Hey, the only person I said that about was Curtis Blades last week, and he got it done.
Okay, good job, bro. I think something that we can look at here is last time that Maverick was out, she faced Pearl Gonzalez. Gonzalez fought in the UFC. If she's good anywhere besides good on the eyes, she's good at grappling. You know what I'm saying? And she was on top of her. She got swept a couple times. Pearl was on top a couple times, but Maverick, she scrambles, finds her way on top, and then when she gets on top, she seems like a pretty strong girl.
Yeah, she likes to. She'll go from guard to side control to mount. She's very good at transitioning and scrambling into good positions on the mat. Borella is the opposite. So yeah.
The only concern I've got here, boys, is that Borella's way bigger. She's got a size advantage. She's got a reach advantage.
Yeah.
If Miranda is just a little too young coming into this thing, she's only 22. This is maybe one of those veteran savvy upset type of moments. I know that Borella isn't savvy, so I don't think that's going to happen. I just, that's the only reason she's not tied up into all of my parlays is this is a very young girl and shit happens in MMA.
Yeah, 4-inch reach advantage, 4-inch reach disadvantage and 3-inch height disadvantage. So, yep.
Very interesting. That is the 5th fight on the preliminary card. We get to the main event of the preliminary card. A lightweight bout. 6'3" Italian Luis Violent Bob Ross Pena. 8-2-0 is a professional MMA record. Opens up as a -250 favorite at Bet365 and is now a -275 favorite. So money coming in on Violent Bob Ross. Going up against 5'11" American Khama, the Death Star worthy. 15-6-0 is a professional MMA record. Opening up at +200. Now at +225. Boston Nick. Pena worthy. What's your look here?
Well, Pena is now over at American Top Team, coming from AKA, getting some different looks. So, his wrestling is going to be top tier. He is the taller, rangier striker and needs to constantly pump that jab that he has and fight at range. I know with the small cage, it's going to be a little bit tougher than usual, but I do believe that he can still get it done at range. He just has to be worthy. He just has to be worried about Khama catching with that just one punch. He really does have a little bit of power. He's a little bit of like that fast twitch muscle type fighter. So I like Pena here. The odds I think are a little bit off, even though Violent Bob Ross is a violent man. I want to see the weigh-ins here. And like Eminem said, all it takes is one shot. And I believe, trust me when I tell you, Khama does that one shot. So
Eminem said that?
Oh yeah, you only get one shot.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay.
Clint.
It's because you listen to the whole country.
Clint, the fight analyst says,
ladies rock and roll.
The fight analyst says this line is ridiculous. Timothy Topher says, who has Pena beat? No one. -250 is ridiculous. Not only was he -250, but he's now -275. What's your move here, Clint?
Jimmy, Pena's been overpriced since he got into the UFC.
True.
This dude is huge. He's huge, and that's the problem. When he fights, he's massive compared to his opponents. He's got some decent grappling. He's got some decent striking, but he's not especially good at either of them at the UFC level. He's just big, and the UFC has been spoon-feeding him opponents to give him time to work up and train and get along, and they're doing the same thing they did with Sean O'Malley, hoping to turn this kid into a prospect. Can't blame them whatsoever. He seemed like he's got a whole lot of upside here. But then he runs into Michael Trezano and Matt Frivola, two real up-and-coming prospects, and even though those were close fights, he lost both of them. So he beats handsome Matt Wyman, who's an elder statesman in the UFC and doesn't belong there anymore. Steve Garcia and Steven Peterson. I mean, he's not beating really anybody. And then we've got this kid, Khama Worthy. Khama Worthy has been fighting a career 145, and he's been knocked out a bunch of times. He's been knocked out 5 times. But then you go back on his record and you look at those people, some of those names on there. Paul Felder, a top 5 fighter in the UFC. Kyle Nelson, the monster who was supposed to be fighting this weekend. Billy Quarantillo, a nice, hot, up-and-coming prospect. He's losing to real good guys, Jimmy. And the reason he was getting knocked out is he's one of these guys that was way too big for 145 and sucked himself out to get down there. On top of that, Jimmy, Khama Worthy matches the size of Luis Pena. He's got a 1-inch reach disadvantage here, Jimmy. This is going to be the first guy Pena has faced in the UFC's octagon that's going to be able to stand toe-to-toe and hit him back when Pena is in range. He's a better striker than Pena is, and his takedown defense is pretty solid. Pena doesn't have the punching power to put Khama Worthy out cold, and with those extra 10 pounds on him, I don't think he's going to have the same durability issues that he used to. He is undefeated since he moved up to 155, Jimmy. He's on a 6-fight win streak, and he knocks people out. His last fight, he came in and took on Devontae Smith and cashed as a plus 650 underdog. I'm going to look to bottle magic twice, Jimmy. I got a bet on Khama Worthy. I got plus 220 in my pocket. I'm ready to watch this kid step in here and show everybody that Pena is not as good as they've all been saying he is this entire time. I've been waiting to fade Pena, and my moment has come. I'm taking my shot, and I got the right price to do it.
And Pena and Clint, Pena is that another quick turnaround?
I don't think so.
Didn't he fight Steve Garcia not too long ago, like 3-4 months ago? 3 months ago? 4 months ago? I thought it was 3-4 months ago. I thought. But
February.
A lot of people in the chat here agreeing with the look on Worthy right from the beginning of the introduction of the main event on the prelim card. People were saying worthy at this price. Big Mo, do you agree with the dog look here?
So my two compadres, my two gaboons over here, we don't really agree that often, but I'm not worthy. Gotta go Worthy. Just on a card that the dogs are slim pickings, like, you know, where you can be able to make a nice little chunk. And this is coming from someone, if y'all look it up, Pena's from your boy's home state. He's from Arkansas, is what some people like to call it. Arkansas is how you pronounce it, people. But so if anybody's going to be on Pena, it's going to be your boy. But then you start thinking, I'm with Clint. It's just he's been getting all these favored matchups. It's like they've been feeding them to him. He's long, lanky. He is kind of awkward on the mat. He does have some grappling chops, but he's not the brightest with it. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't shoot when he's supposed to shoot. He kind of does stuff opposite sometimes. He does have just like Nick said, he went from AKA to ATT, two great camps, two great looks. On paper, you're like, Pena should come in small cage. If you go do some tape, Worthy does get taken down. But, man, Worthy has that one equalizer that Pena doesn't, and it's his inside leg kicks, his outside leg kicks, another leg kicks. If you go watch him, those leg kicks he was smashing Devontae Smith with, those were serious leg kicks. They had Devontae thinking, and then when Devontae came in, he hit him with a little hook, and he threw an uppercut, but he didn't even have to hit that uppercut because that hook was so serious. He has serious power with the 6-fight win streak on top of that dog. I think the pick here is Worthy.
One thing chicken legs are going to have a problem with those leg kicks.
Yes, and that's very true. One thing I want to bring up, though, is I was watching an interview actually earlier today, and Dustin Poirier, he said that Luis Pena was actually helping him get ready for his fight against Dan Hooker. You know, taller guy, linkier
He's got
guy.
the same build, height, reach. He's nowhere near as good, though.
No, not. But he's getting.
And if he's been mimicking Hooker this entire fight camp, think his wrestling's going to be on point? I don't know. Nope. He might come out trying to strike.
Yep. So, good point.
Wow. I don't remember having a plus 225 dog that everybody believes in. And Bob Taylor right there just locked in Worthy at plus 225. There's the Prince of the City in the house. We got a great group of cappers in the chat. That is your preliminary card right there. The 6 fights on your preliminary card. Let's go to preliminary card best bet time. And let's start with my man, Big Mo. What's your best bet on this preliminary card?
Let's think about this a second, Jimmy. I'm thinking I might lock in a little parlay, a little Youssef and Miss Maverick parlay. I think I'm gonna lock that in. Pretty confident in Youssef, real confident in Maverick. I think that's gonna be your boy's best underdog pick.
Tanner Boser.
Tanner Boser?
Trying to sneak in there real quick. Huh?
Sorry, Clint.
Always trying to take my steam.
Was it Boser or no?
No. So we got Mo on a Youssef, the Moroccan Devil, Zalal Maverick parlay that gives him a plus line. We've got our man Boston Nick on the Bulldozer, whom Clint is waiting to see if a plus line gets there. So that is my man Nick's favorite look on the preliminary card. And let's hear what Clint started Die Hard MMA podcast favorite look on this preliminary card.
I've only got 3 bets on the preliminary card, Jimmy, and they're all dogs. So I guess, you know what? I'm going to sack up, and I'm going to give you Khama Worthy as my best bet on the undercard.
Woo. Good hit.
Wow.
That's plus 220, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
Wow. I like it.
I like what Mr. Gabriel said, too. A nice little Hansen Maverick parlay. I was thinking about that one as well.
Hansen, Maverick, yeah. A lot of people using Maverick as a parlay piece and then plus lines all over. Timothy Topher says, we are not worthy. Nice spots there. My Henny boy, my guy Henny boy in the house says, Khama Worthy, let's get it. There you have it. There is the preliminary card brought to you by my guys, Big Mo, Boston Nick, and Clint Starr, the Die Hard MMA podcast. Preliminary card right there. There you have it. Check us out, odds.com. Follow us on Twitter, odds110, and subscribe here to Odds HQ, what you are watching right now on YouTube. There you have it, the preliminary card. Now we get to the main card, baby. Sadly, it doesn't start off with another knucklehead. Kyle the Monster Nelson couldn't get his visa in time. We can't start with him on this card, and we don't have a line yet with his replacement, Julian Juicy J. Arosa. But we are going to start with that fight. Welcome to odds.com's breakdown of the main card, Vegas Fight Night for Poirier Hooker. We got our guys, Boston Nick, Clint, Star the Die Hard MMA podcast, and Big Mo in the house. Let's get to this catchweight bout. 6'2" American Sean, the Sniper Woodson, undefeated pro MMA record 7-0-0, going up against Juicy J. Arosa, Yakima's finest. I've never said that in my life. Yakima's finest. Right here in Juicy J. Arosa. We don't have a line. Let's start with Clint. What is your expectations of this line, and will you be making a move once it pops off?
Jimmy, Yakima's finest is 0-3 in his last 3 fights, and 2 of those have been finished, my buddy. You don't need to say Yakima's finest. This is going to be a minus 750, minus 800 for Woodson here. He had a legit Canuck in Kyle the Monster Nelson in front of him. I'm a big fan of that guy, and I was really looking forward to seeing that fight. But Woodson is just going to be way too much for Juicy J. Arosa is bad and doesn't belong at the UFC level. And Woodson's just huge, man. He's another one of these guys. He's like Pena 2.0. He's big, he's long, he's got the reach, but he actually knows what to do with it. This dude was 46-3 as an amateur boxer before going pro in MMA. So the only issue that he has is his ground game, and he's working hard on that. His takedown defense is pretty solid, and he's got those long-ass legs, so it's really hard to take him down. I don't see any path to victory here for Juicy J, especially coming in on, 5 days notice? I mean, this is going to be Woodson all day. The problem is that line's going to be completely unplayable.
What's your first guess? Your first
800, minus 800?
I'm going to guess minus 550.
Whew, shit.
If it opens minus 550, it'll be minus 800 in about 15 minutes.
Yep.
Wow. Big Mo, what do you think of this? Is this just a slam dunk piece? Is it going to be the odds going to be too ridiculous to even use it as a parlay piece?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be crazy. First off, the Sniper, what's his nickname? Mr. What's his nickname?
The
Juicy
Sniper,
J.
yeah.
Yeah, the Sniper. They call him the Sniper for a reason, right? So in the original matchup, just like Clint said, there was a chance for Nelson. He was going to come in, he was going to throw some bombs, try to clinch, press him up against the cage, and work the takedowns just like Kyle Bochniak tried to do it. Kyle Nelson's a little bit stronger, a little bit better of a grappler, so there was a chance he might have got it there. But Juicy J is going to stand up and fight with you. First off, your name's Juicy J, bro. Come on. So he's gonna stand up and strike with him, and Woodson's on another level. 46-3 amateur boxing, feints a lot of uppercuts, a lot of feints, real long, lanky. I can see him finishing them, I don't know, probably first round. If at all you're going to play this at all, you're going to have to pick like what round, how he does it, within the first 60 seconds. You're going to have to pick some crazy kind of stuff to even for it to even be playable at all.
Yeah.
Boston Nick, is there any kind of angle here?
I guess we all think he's long and lanky, Woodson. He's got great movement, great leg kicks. Reminds me he's a little bit O'Malley-ish, how he constantly switches stances and is able to pump a jab out in overhand right or left out from each stance. He's very, very hard to take down. And if you do take him down, he just scoots to the fence and gets right back up. I was on Woodson in this fight against the Ginger Nelson, because another redhead, right? Somewhat of a redhead, I would call him. I didn't like the line. I was going to try to look at a prop bet, maybe by decision or something like that. But now he's not fighting him anymore. So it's Juicy J. And that being said, I'm going to look for like what Mo said, maybe some sort of like second or third round finish. And if it's juicy enough, I'll jump on it. But it's Woodson or pass. You can't take Julian Erosa. He's, 4-fight losing streak, Clint?
3-fight losing streak. One is UFC debut, and since then it's been all downhill.
What do you think of our man Gabe Killian in the chat saying Woodson inside the distance is a safe play? Woodson has no KO power.
He's saying not Woodson inside the distance.
Oh, at -2. Wow, Woodson inside the distance at -242. Is that what it says? Is that really the odds?
Yeah.
Wow.
Woodson
by decision -242. He's saying. Is that what he's saying? I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. But
so basically, what that prop means is any result besides Woodson inside the distance. So Juicy J could win by knockout. Juicy J could win by submission. Woodson could sub. Woodson could win by decision. Just anything but Woodson by knockout.
Gotcha.
I feel you.
The only thing for me, though, is Juicy J has been knocked out twice in his last 3 fights. And Woodson might not have a ton of KO power, but he's a volume dude. And this guy's coming in late. I think that KO threat is there more so than it would normally be in this particular fight just because of the late fill-in.
Yep, that step-in knee that he has, oh, man, I could see Erosa, after getting caught with a couple punches, try to shoot for a takedown, just catching that knee right in the chin and dropping.
He's like 8 feet tall. That step-in knee is going to crack your chin. It doesn't matter how you're coming in.
Yeah, and he just stays at his range, and he's so long. It showed against Botniak, he landed 7.4 significant strikes per minute. So he's just staying at his range, going left to right, popping him when he wants to, and he just hits you with so much volume that he could finish you that way.
And his cardio was off the chain too. He can go all 3 rounds. I mean, against Kyle Botniak, I believe he stood all 3 rounds in between rounds.
Yeah. So. Well, too bad that the monster couldn't get his visa in time. Sports Gambling Daily watching us live at the Westgate. Respect to Sports Gambling Daily. Thank you,
boy,
my friend. All right, let's move on to a heavyweight bout. This is the second fight on the main card this Saturday. UFC Vegas for Poirier Hooker. 6'3" American Gian Villante. 17-11-0 pro MMA record. Sitting at plus 188. That was the opening line at Bet365. Still at plus 188. Going up against a much bigger opponent. 6'7" American Maurice, the Crochet.
Woo! Nailed it, Jimmy. Nailed it, brother.
I thought it was crotchet. Whatever.
Yeah.
I thought maybe there was some other meaning for crotchet in the clink. Because the Crochet boss Greene 8-5-0 minus 225, 6'7", huge advantages all over the place for the Crochet boss. Quincy Brown says the Crochet boss knockout incoming. Let's ask our man Big Mo, what's the move here?
Yeah, I don't like how big of a favorite my man the Crochet or the Crockett boss is. But, I mean, he has more options. He has a lot more arsenal, a lot more weapons in his arsenal as far as head kicks. He can grapple a little bit if he gets off his back. He has some submissions. A lot longer, a lot more lanky, as we like to say. But just it's more about who he's fighting. You know what I'm saying? It's Gian Villante. My man comes out, throws 2 shots at a time, doesn't really cut the cage off well. Gets hit to the body a lot. He's just a real low volume. He gets hit. He absorbs 6.43 strikes per minute. So He's kind of like a punching bag, gets hit a couple times to throw one back. I think if you're going to pick the Crockett boss, it's going to be now. And I don't know how you would play him. And I'm not just super confident because it's him. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen his eyes. One eye's looking that way and the other eye's looking at you.
Yeah.
So
that's what it means. The crooked eye. I got it.
That's it. You're on to something, Jimmy.
Crooked eye. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it means. I don't know if you've seen a picture of him, but on the Ultimate Fighter, just a little side, he was drinking brews and smoking cigarettes in between rounds. So my man is nope, it's given. But I think right here you pick the Crockett boss, Jimmy.
Just my 2 cents. I hate this fight. Picking Mo Greene, but it's probably my least confident. Boston Nick, is there a move to make here? Are you making a move?
I'm stunned. I'm actually still breaking down a Gian Villante fight, right, Clint? This is kind of crazy that Gian Villante is still in the picture here at the UFC.
It's a little wild,
right? It feels like the UFC is reaching a bit here, understandably so. It's COVID right now, so they're looking for fighters. If you haven't seen Villante's fight. If you have seen Villante fight once, you've seen him fight every single time. He has not improved. He does the same thing every single time. He's not a volume striker, more of like a 1-2 type guy. Honestly, it's Greene or pass. I know it sounds funny. I mean, Greene's got an 82-inch reach. That is an 8-inch reach advantage, or 6-inch reach advantage on Villante. Not to mention, I believe Mo Greene can also take him down at will as well. Yeah, Villante is Weidman's best friend and whatnot, but just because you're Chris Weidman's best friend doesn't mean you're going to accumulate all his, you know what I mean? So that being said, it's Mo Greene or pass. I would put Mo Greene in a parlay. I think he's a parlay piece, but I wouldn't stack units on it. You know what I mean? That'd be something you want a little bit of action, parlay with something that you're comfortable with. I cannot bet Gian Villante. I wouldn't bet Gian Villante with my worst enemy's money. Well, maybe my worst enemy's money. Yeah, I would, but other than that, no, I would not bet Gian Villante. Sorry, not happening.
Gabriel Killian says Villante actually has solid technique in his kickboxing. Is there any angle for Villante? Is there any angle for this fight, Clint?
So, Jimmy, Villante has been up and down in his UFC career, alternating wins and losses. Those wins have recently been coming by split decision. So kind of like my boy Boston said, he's just barely hanging on to that UFC roster spot. But if you can believe it, back in the day, he seemed like a prospect. He knocked out Corey freaking Anderson.
Yep.
Like, we thought this guy was something. I don't know what happened, but he just doesn't seem to be that guy anymore. I don't know if he was on the juice and maybe USADA got him and now he doesn't have that pop on his punches or what. I am not sure. So he's one of these mid-tier, mid-level talent type of dudes. And being at the height and reach disadvantage he's going to be at with the crochet boss, I don't personally see him getting it done. I can't take either side, though. I don't think that Crochet Boss is a guy that you want to trust with your money in like a big parlay or something like that. There are better spots to me.
His only wins the last 3.5 years, are to Ed Herman, okay, which was a split decision, and then Francisco Barroso, who is no longer with the company more. He's over at PFL, doing well, but over at PFL, okay? It's not the UFC. So
yeah, but the Crochet Boss got knocked out by Sergey Pavlovich. He got subbed out by old man Alexei, which there's no shame in that because we all know what Alexei does.
Yep.
But he gassed out hard in the second round of that fight, allowing Alexei to get that thing done. And he's only beaten Jeff Hughes and Junior Albini. Not a great level of competition himself either. So this is a sloppy heavyweight fight, and I want nothing to do with it. I don't want to put my money on either of these guys. I especially don't want to put my money on Greene at this favorite chalky line. And Gian Villante, we've seen people who move up from light heavyweight to heavyweight carry a whole bunch more power. Look at Daniel Cormier. I mean, I know obviously that's a different caliber of fighter, but we've seen it happen when they're not cutting weight. They've got that extra pop. They've got some extra weight moving around. So there's a decent chance he is improved here. I'm just not touching it. This is another fireball and popcorn type of fight.
I had that written down as well. Fireball and popcorn right here.
All right, well, let's move on to the next bout. The third fight.
189 people watching. I appreciate every single one of you. We all do. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. We have so many incredible cappers in the chat as well as on the screen. It's great. Working together to defeat the juice. Let's move on to the middleweight bout. 6'2" American, Brendan All-In Allen. 14-3-0 pro record, opens up as a big favorite, -300, now at -275. So slight move towards the 6'3" American Kyle Daukaus, undefeated professional MMA record, but a big dog here. Boston Nick, all in Allen up
I
against.
want to go last here because I really need these guys' take on this one. I've been really struggling here on this fight.
Let's move right over to Clint. What do you think here? All in Allen, Kyle Daukaus.
This is a sleeper. Jimmy, if this one wasn't on Hooker versus Poirier, this could be a fight of the night contender. Both of these guys are submission ground game wizards. The new kid is undefeated stepping into the cage. Brendan Allen is a guy who is potentially going to be in the top 10 very, very soon. Both of these guys are legit. Both these guys can sweep. They can reverse. They can take the backs. I mean, these guys are phenomenal, both of them. And I think the favorite line is simply here because you got to respect what Brendan Allen has done in the UFC so far. He choked out my dude, Kevin Holland, and I'm extremely high on Holland, so that speaks volumes here to me. I like Brendan Allen. I just hate this price tag because he's fighting a guy that can flip the tables on him in his best spot. When they get into the same world, these guys are potentially on the same level. We don't know for sure about Daukaus yet, but from what I've seen, he's phenomenal on the mat. Brendan Allen's striking has come a long way. His kicks are looking good, but I don't think he's going to be so good that he'll put this guy away on the feet early or anything like that. I'm hoping for a scramble fest, Jimmy. This is one that I'm looking forward to as a jiu-jitsu practitioner myself. I think I'm going to have some fun watching this one, but I can't put any money on it again. I don't like the line on either side. Wouldn't blame you for taking the shot on Daukaus because he stands a chance for that sub shot. And really, what are these judges going to know about grappling? If this takes place jiu-jitsu style on the mat the entire time, these guys are flip-flopping all over, getting reversed, getting swept, changing position. Judges aren't going to know how to score that.
Game Day says Daukaus debuting in a tough spot. This is a comfortable win for All in Allen. Let's hear what Big Mo has to say. All in Allen versus Kyle Daukaus.
So just looking at it, right, you look at it, I'm thinking, boom, I'm on Brendan Allen. I'm gonna go look at this Daukaus character, right? You pull up some footage and you start watching. Real tall, lanky guy. Striking is not his expertise. He is a grappler, but his striking doesn't look horrible. Good straight punches, good little flurries, good combos. You know, pretty decent kicks, like a decent kicking game. But where he thrives is on the mat. So then you look at Allen. When Allen walks forward, he's just walking forward. He doesn't care what you got to have, what you have for him. Boom, he's coming. Throwing hooks. I can see Daukaus pop a little bit there. But where I see the hole in Allen's game is when he gets on top, just like with Holland. I don't remember where else I saw it. But, hey, he gets swept a lot. Like, he doesn't have really good top control. So just like Clint said, I can see a lot of scrambles in this fight. I think this is going to be one of them grappler versus grapplers that is truly going to be a grappling match. You know, sometimes you see a grappler versus grappler, then it's just a stand-up fight that goes to a decision. I think this is going to be an actual grappler versus grappler where we're going to get to see transitions. And I think Daukaus is super live here. You know, he's a darcer. He has 5 darces, 3 rear naked chokes. Brendan Allen does have a loss by rear naked choke.
Those long, skinny arms, they catch him at angles.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, in those scrambles, I could see Daukaus snatching something up. If Allen had better top pressure, I would be all in on Allen because then Allen could just hold him down. But he doesn't. He's not good at maintaining control, position over submission type thing. He just goes right in for it, boom, and then he gets swept. Daukaus ends up on top. Daukaus isn't somebody you want on top, it seems like. Now, I don't know if both guys have such good grappling that they're just going to cancel each other out and it's going to go to a decision and it's going to be a toss-up, so who knows type thing, or if Daukaus is going to catch him in a sub. But I don't see Allen catching him in a sub just from what I've seen. Now, can it happen? It could definitely happen. But this is that dog pick I was talking about. I think Daukaus is going to snatch up a sub in this one.
Well, they're the boys in the chat, the cappers in the chat, because we have the female cappers in the chat as well. Cappers in the chat are talking about making the under possibly the move here. You know, just bet on the submission either way. What do you guys think of that?
I could see this fight going the distance myself. I mean, Allen is a Contender Series prodigy. He's coming off an excellent stoppage submission. What was the second round again with Holland, right, Clint? Yeah. It's a tough one. I'm back and forth. I was original on Allen. I watched some Daukaus footage. Yeah, he's great in the scrambles. He's got a great Darce choke. And like our boy Guru said, anybody that's not great with top control is susceptible to that Darce choke. So I don't like the line on it right now. What is Allen exactly right now?
Minus
Right now,
300.
Or it's down to 275 at bet 365.
Yeah, I couldn't put somebody on Allen at minus 275 with a up-and-comer Daukaus that is dangerous as well. I don't know, man. I think in the wrestling department, Allen is way better here. And if he can just keep some sort of top control for 3 rounds, take him down once or twice in the round, even once, 2 minutes top control each round, and then they're on their feet. I see Allen getting a decision win here. So my lean would be Allen by decision. I think you can get it at minus 120-ish last time I checked. But we think we have to wait for those props to drop. But I'm leaning Allen here. I'm not jumping on Daukaus just yet. I need to see him in the UFC.
I wouldn't mind that under, Jimmy. They've got it set at 1.5. You're getting plus money on the under 1.5. Doesn't seem crazy to me because if Allen is everything that he's supposed to be, he probably gets this kid out of there relatively quickly. And like Mo's talking about, this kid's live for a submission. If he's going to do that, he probably surprises Allen with something. So, if I had to make a play, that's probably the way that I'd look. Luckily, we've got an opportunity to pass on it. And like I said, I'm just going to enjoy this one because, you know me, I'm a jiu-jitsu fan, and your boy knows a thing or two about some grappling over here. Let me show you. So I'm going to look forward to this one.
There you go. Well, we don't have real definitive moves so far on this main card, but it's co-main event time. Maybe we get one right here. Welterweight bout, 5'10" American Mike Platinum Perry. Another big favorite here, minus 300 opening at Bet365. Still there, 13-6-0 professional MMA record. Going up against 6'2" American Mickey Gall, 6'2-0 plus 240. Let's start with Clint, star of the Die Hard MMA podcast. What do you think of this, Perry Gall?
First off, I need to address Bloodthirsty MMA in the picks. And he's saying you guys got Anthony Smith as a guest. It's Ben Rothwell, son. What are you doing?
Definitely his son. Trust me.
Jimmy, this is a fight that I never knew I needed. Mickey Gall and Mike Perry. Those were 2 names I really never thought I would see next to each other.
Right.
And it's so weird because Mike Perry is not a guy you want to bet at favored odds. Like, you just don't want to lay that kind of chalk with this guy. He is so fun to watch, highly entertaining. He comes to fight and brawl every single time, and that's why the fans love him so much. Mickey Gall is a busted prospect. He's not improving the way that we thought he was going to. He's fought next to nobody in the UFC, and when he has fought somebody, he's lost. I don't think these guys are even in the same stratosphere. Mike Perry has been fighting extremely competitively with the high end of the division. He went to a split with Vicente Luque, and he had his moments in that fight. This is a massive, massive step down for Mike Perry. The only problem, Jimmy, is Mike Perry's lost his damn mind. He's out there with a new girlfriend, and he's calling her his god, and she's literally going to be his corner person for this fight. He doesn't have a coach. The dude's off his rocker.
It's not blonde. It's a new one?
No, he lost the Platinum Princess, bro. He broke up with Platinum Princess, and now he's got some new short little compact spinner chick that she's holding the mitts up like this for him to hit because she's so short.
Whoa. I didn't know
that.
No training partner. Okay.
So I really wanted to bet Mickey Gall in this fight. Because that long, long line. But if anybody's going to thrive in the chaos of this COVID situation where you don't have good training and all you got to do is step in the cage and fight, Mike Perry's your boy. He's the kind of guy that will be able to shelf all that, flip the crazy switch on, step in there and throw hands. And that's all it's going to take to beat Mickey Gall. Mickey Gall can't get out of round 2 without huffing air. The dude runs out of gas at about the 2-minute mark of round 2 every single fight. His striking is nowhere near the striking level of Mike Perry. And I think Mike Perry's going to have strong, tanky enough man strength and takedown defense to keep this fight standing or stay safe if it does hit the mat for a little bit. And unless Mike Perry is just completely off his rocker, which is totally possible, I think he's going to win this thing via late TKO. Again, I know you said that we're not giving definitive picks, but honestly, Jimmy, this is a really tough card to bet.
Very.
And the only way that I would really look on this fight is maybe sprinkling the round props here. If you want to take Mike Perry like in round 2 and round 3, when Mickey Gall gasses out, he cranks it up for the finish, get a nice juicy plus line on that, split a unit in half, something like that. That might be a way that you can go. But honestly, this is a straight pass. Like, there's so many questions here. There's just too many questions to put your money on this fight.
And I was saying that about the main card. You guys have real good looks all over the preliminary card. So I just mean for these first few fights as we've broken down the main card, because I love your action.
Main card's tough.
Yeah.
Main card so far, no real strong moves. Let's see if that changes when we go over to Big Mo, Platinum Perry, Mickey Gall.
Yeah, I think I scared old Nicky boy earlier this week, Jimmy. I was like, hey, man, Gall's live. You got to watch out. Hey, he tried to get mouthy with me a little bit. I said, hey, bro, watch you get mouthy with. But, I was just playing with him, man. Every single thing that Clint said, nailed it. And dude's done lost his mind. Yeah, he's not going to have a corner. His girl's holding mitts for him. We all done went through that. But an interview that I saw he had with Mike Quick Swick, he was talking about, hey, man, with everything going on, I'm going to be listening to the commentary. I'm going to listen to his corner. I'm going to be having conversation with this guy, and he's just crazy enough to do it. If this was anybody but Mickey Gall, I would probably be fading Mike Perry. But Mickey Gall is the bottom of the barrel. They brought him in so there would be a halfway decent talent to go against CM Punk. You know what I'm saying? And they had to bring him in because their lowest person would smash CM Punk. So they had to bring somebody in that was a little bit lower than them.
And still smash CM Punk.
Yep.
Yeah, still smashed him. You know, but he tends to think he is a little kickboxer now. You know, I can see him trying to mix it up, but he's probably going to be trying to shoot blast doubles on him. And I think Mike Perry's too big, too strong. Even with no coach, I think Mike Perry is going to finish Gall. I don't think Gall makes it to a decision.
Gall's blast doubles are shit too.
Yeah. And without watching tape, you're like, hey, Gall can grapple hard. But then you go watch and you're like, oh no, he's
That's exactly what happened to me, Mo. Exactly what happened to me.
Yep.
Yeah, Mickey Gall coming off a decision win against Salim Tahari, who is 0-3 in the UFC, guys. You know what I mean? That's his last win, up to date.
And it was a tough win. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Good point. Gall's claim to fame is beating Sage Northcutt. Let's get that right now. His biggest win of the day is Northcutt, who's no longer with the UFC, who just got his face reconstructed. And the other, what was it, Ryzen, wherever he's fighting? I can't remember. That being said, his other 4 wins against fighters that are not in the UFC and not UFC caliber. So, I mean, Gall's stand-up is quite bad, and he's used to getting into that clinch. In my opinion, Mike Perry is way better in wrestling, the grappling department. The only department he might not be as good as Gall in is the actual BJJ. But I think Perry will out-wrestle him, he'll out-grapple him, he'll put him against the cage and hit him with elbows for days. I see Perry putting Mickey Gall out of there within the distance. But within the distance, you only get him at minus 215. I just looked at it. I'm like, wow. You know what I mean? That being said, maybe a TKO prop or something like that, but it wouldn't be much better than that. But I cannot bet Gall here. It's Perry in a parlay or pass for me.
Yeah, I get it. Just my 2 cents is Platinum Psycho doesn't need a legit corner man for the likes of Gall. He doesn't listen.
It's going to be an entertaining fight, Jimmy, because I guarantee he's going to be. He talks anyway, and you hear everything echo in there now. Mm-hmm. He's going to be talking to the commentators. He's going to be talking to his girl, like, "What's up, girl?" You know, he's going to be doing everything. It's going to be a pretty entertaining fight.
He just needs to be careful with the scrambles. That's it. That's the only thing, just in the scrambling department.
And that he don't get overconfident. That's something that's kind of popped in my mind a little bit. Like, hey, bro, let's not get too overconfident. But I think he's safe.
Yeah. Well, that's what Gabe Killian's saying. He's saying, my concern playing Perry is he can beat himself. Might take Gall down and get tapped. All right. That is the co-main event welterweight bout. Now it is main event time. Main event time for UFC Fight Night Vegas for a lightweight bout. 5'9" American Dustin the Diamond Poirier, ranked third among lightweight contenders. Professional MMA record 25-6-0. Opens at -188 at Bet365, being bet to -210. This is Tuesday night, so we're still 5 days away, but money coming in on Poirier. Going up against the 5th-ranked lightweight contender, 6-foot New Zealander Dan the Hangman Hooker. 28 and opening up at Bet365 at +163. Now at +175. Let's go to Big Mo for the main event Saturday night. What's your move?
I don't know what everybody's thinking on this. I'll just tell you what your boy's thinking on this. Is a hard fight for me to pick. You watch tape, and Hooker's a beast, man. Hooker's not a boxer. He stays at range. He fights at his range, hands down low. He's a sniper, looks for that one pot shot Pam. You know, like he's good at delivering all the power on his shot right at the end of his strike. He has nice knees up the middle. The ground game is where he's going to come into where Poirier is going to be a lot better in the grappling. You got Poirier, really good boxer. Poirier eats a lot of leg kicks. Hooker throws some hard leg kicks, and he throws them towards the calf. He even throws them towards the ankle. You have Poirier ate about, I think it's exactly 100 leg kicks in the Gaethje fight. He eats quite a bit of leg kicks. He just got done having surgery on his leg, but I think Poirier is a different level, man. I think the small cage, he's going to use his pressure, walk forward. Dan Hooker's not going to have that move. He's not going to have that room to get out of the way of Poirier. Poirier is good at cutting off the cage, pressure forward, real tight boxing, works the body well, so he's going to have Hooker guessing which way. I don't think he's going to give Hooker the space to use his range, and I'm going to go Poirier, probably fourth round TKO.
Ooh, picking the spot for Dustin the Diamond Poirier. Let's go to Boston Nick, a.k.a. Mr. Fat Fist. Main event time. What's your look here?
I'm loving Poirier here, and I don't like the odds. Listen, Poirier has faced the best there is in that division, and we all know that. I mean, his last loss, besides Khabib, I believe was I want to say
Michael Johnson.
There you go, right? And that was in 2016. Listen, the better boxer here is obviously Dustin Poirier. With the smaller cage, I don't think that Hooker is going to be able to use his range like he wants to. Not to mention, if Dustin wants to use his wrestling like he can, that's going to benefit him as well. So you got a smaller cage, we'll be able to get into his boxing range. You got a smaller cage, we'll be able to get into his grappling range. And if he wants to take him down, need be, he will. I really like Poirier here. I really do. I mean, Poirier's main training partner, and I listened to an interview right before we went live, a couple hours ago, and his main training partner here was Jorge Masvidal for this camp.
Yeah.
So that being said, I mean, you train with a beast like Jorge Masvidal, and he always trains with Jorge Masvidal, but that was his main training partner for this camp. American Top Team has been open nonstop for their fighters. That's why you see ATT fighters winning more than any other camp out there right now to date, just because of their, Florida's been open. We're a little bit more lenient than others. I don't like Hooker here. I like Poirier. I like him inside the distance. I don't see this going the distance, and that's all she wrote right there. It's Dustin.
Something before Clint goes that I don't know if Clint's going to say it, but the last person to beat Gilbert Burns is who? So onward.
And real quick,
I'm trying to throw that out there.
Hooker,
the number one contender.
I hear you. Hooker. By the way, with the leg kicks, Justin is way, way far superior when it comes to leg kicks than Hooker. So that, yeah, I understand that part, but that's Justin Gaethje. But when it comes to Hooker in his training camp, he had 4 week it was called a level 4 lockdown for half of his camp, which means he could only run on his own. He couldn't even run aside somebody. And over.
I mean, Poirier had leg surgery where he had to lay in the bed for 6 weeks and have a machine.
Yeah, he had
his leg up and down.
Yeah, hip surgery. But I mean, he admits in this interview that half his camp was running, the other half 3 weeks of it was training with 2 people in a gym, and the other 3 weeks was actual regular training for this camp. So where is Hooker right now? Honestly, I know where ATT is. I know exactly what they're doing every single day. I drive by that gym every day, as you know, Mo. And that being said, I know for a fact those guys are ready to fight. I know Dustin's ready to fight. I'm not so sure Hooker is in that same ballpark. I know for a fact he's not in that same ballpark when it comes to actual fighting skills. The more well-rounded guy here is definitely Dustin Poirier. So it's Dustin Poirier for me all day long. I don't see Hooker getting this done unless he knocks out or maybe submits Poirier if Poirier does try to take him down and he snatches some sort of guillotine. But he leaves that chin open, Hooker, way too much. He leaves it up in the air. And I could see Dustin just getting a boxing range and putting it to him against the fence, against the cage.
Boston Nick on the Diamond Poirier side. Clint, my man, main event time. What's your move?
Jimmy, this fight is so interesting. We could literally talk about this one fight for the length of this show. There's so much going on here to unpack. My boys did a great job of breaking down a lot of the pros and cons that I would want to mention. You've got Dustin, who's coming off his loss. He had the unification bout with Khabib, lost his strap, and there's 2 ways that can go. You can either come back from that hungry and improved after seeing a new level of the sport, or you can come back a broken man because you've reached your peak and you know you're never getting back there again, and now you're just on the downslide, but you don't know it until you step in the cage. So there's a little bit of a question mark with Dustin Poirier. With Dan the Hangman Hooker, this guy has been on an absolute run since he got busted up by Edson Barboza. And his last fight with Paul Felder, he barely squeaked by that thing in a split decision. Yep. His first 5-round fight. Dustin's had a whole lot of 5-round experience. Hooker does not. And Hooker arguably lost that fight with Paul Felder. I personally had a bet on Hooker that night, cashed it, and scored the fight for Paul Felder. So that was an incredibly close fight where he took a shit ton of damage, Jimmy.
Yes.
Dustin Poirier has been wars his entire career, and I know a lot of people are talking about the amount of damage this guy's taken, how he's not going to be able to hold up in there, but he fought Max Holloway in that fight of the year battle back in April of 2019. Then he fought Khabib, which he ended up getting choked out in, not a super damaging fight, in September of 2019. He's been off this entire time since. So if we're talking about a 30-year-old dude who's in his prime, taking almost a year off to recover, we probably don't have to worry too much about his durability coming back here on this one.
Yep.
Hooker on the other side of this thing just fought in February and was in the war of his life. He got hit with 110 significant strikes from Paul Felder, Jimmy. That's an absolute battle. And I know he's young. I know he's in shape, but this is a quick turnaround for his body to heal up that way. That's really my concern here. The other thing is the striking differentials. Dustin Poirier averages 5.51 significant strikes per minute and only absorbs 3.79. So he is decently outstriking his opponents by a good chunk of a margin for his entire UFC career. And that's been an absolute storied and phenomenal UFC career against the best names the UFC has to offer. Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway twice, Conor McGregor. He's fought Anthony Pettis, Jim Miller. I mean, everybody, and he is outstriking them all. Hooker averages 4.76 significant strikes per minute and absorbs 4.67. This guy takes as good as he gets, and even with that height and reach advantage, he tends to strike evenly with his opponents and just looks to hit the button and cash in on his power more often than his foes do. And so far, he's been very successful at it. I'm a huge fan of Hooker. I called this guy a future title contender, and I've called him a future champion. Training out there with Israel Adesanya and the 145 king right now, Volkanovski. It seems like there's just something in the water at City Kickboxing. I almost said American Kickboxing. City Kickboxing out there in New Zealand. The kid's got all the pieces. It's just a matter of whether or not he can put it together. And what I'm seeing from all these numbers, I've got a question on Hooker's durability right now coming off of that fight. I've got a question on Dustin Poirier's motivation coming off of his last fight. There's a lot of questions here, and I think you could argue that the value is going to be on the Hooker side of this fight, that it's relatively 50-50. These guys both have a lot of experience. They've both taken a lot of damage. And the new kid, Hooker, is going to have the reach advantage. But again, he was in that war a whole lot more recently. Plus 180, I think, is a fair price. You probably have got some value there. But what I'm going to do, Jimmy, is I'm going to take a sneaky look at an alternative line. We've got the total set at 4.5 rounds right now, juiced massively to the under at -240. They're saying a finish is happening in this fight. Well, these two warriors have done nothing but show off their durability since they've been in the UFC. Dan Hooker went with Paul Felder to that 25-minute war zone, and he's been on a decision run with the higher level of competition since. And Dustin Poirier made it to round 3 with Khabib, which is saying something, went all 5 rounds with Max Holloway, got deep into round 4. Not deep, but he got into round 4 with Justin freaking Gaethje not that long ago. These guys surprisingly fight a decent amount of time for how much power they bring to the table. I don't think they're going to go into the center of the cage and just drop the gloves and start slugging it out, Jimmy. I'm going to take the alternate look at the over 2.5. It's -120, -125 right now. I think this fight gets into round 3. The other thing I would suggest is if you do like a fighter, I predict a late finish. So if you want to sprinkle the props, round 3, round 4, round 5, on whichever side of the line you like, I think you're going to have a much better shot at cashing a nice juicy plus line there with a low risk, high reward type of shot, because I simply don't see either one of these guys going down in rounds 1 or 2.
I like that look. I
think the leg kicks are going to come into play.
Not with this small cage. He's not going to be able to plant like he wants to. I'm telling you, Dustin's going to be.
We've had this conversation every single week for like 3 weeks. It's the same cage.
Yes.
Leg kicks are leg kicks in an open stance.
It's the same cage.
That's the perfect plan for a leg kick.
For the last 3 weeks.
And every single week, it's a big leg kicker wins. So I'm on Poirier. I'm just thinking that people are overlooking Hooker's leg kicks and the type of striker that Poirier he's not striking at range. He has to get in because he's a boxer. He throws hooks. He's not throwing real long shots. He's looking big power hooks, power to the body, come back up, and he's going to have to eat leg kicks. And my man does not check leg kicks. And with the opposite stance, you got Hooker, orthodox right hand. You got Poirier, southpaw. So they're going to be playing for that outside position. And those leg kicks are going to come into play. I think Poirier is going to be able to press forward and stop a lot of that power. But I think he's going to be limping round 3, 4. That's not going to matter. I do think Gaethje throws harder leg kicks, and he made it through those and finished Gaethje in the 4th. I'm just saying go back and watch tape, how Hooker throws leg kicks. He even goes lower than the calf. He like kicks that little bone that if you stub on something,
right on the ankle,
it hurts really bad, and you're like, that's like the funny bone, but on your ankle, it hurts very bad. So I just think those are going to come into play.
He's going to be eating a right when he throws that.
Just like y'all said, Poirier's fought way better competition, and I just think he's the overall better fighter. I think he's going to go to his grappling a lot in this. A lot of like boom, 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 level change, get him against the cage, try to go to his single to double chain grapple, get him down, have him working, getting up, maybe some wrist rides, ground and pound. He almost caught Khabib in that guillotine. That's the closest we've ever seen Khabib to it facing any type of adversity was from Poirier. So he's definitely the better grappler. So I think that's where he's going to make the difference.
Both of these guys like to bank for the later rounds. Both these guys like to work the legs, work the body, try and suck out the gas tank of their opponents. But while you're doing that, it's a slow, steady pace. You're chipping away at your opponent. And I think they're both going to try to do the same thing to each other, which is why I think it gets over 2.5.
True that.
I think it does go over 2.5. I'm just worried about all this road work that he's been doing, Hooker. Like I said, half his camp has been him running uphill, as he said. So,
yeah, but honestly, with his durability, in question from that last war he was in, road work might be the best thing for him to recover instead of being in there getting hit.
Very true. But then again, you still have to prepare for a certain fighter. And he said he had Kai Kara France. That was his main training partner for Dustin Poirier. That's sad. Okay.
MMA locker room, we got Mills in the building. He said he bet his lunch money on Hooker. He said my name in that, but hey, I'm over here taking up for Hooker, bro. You're talking to them, bro. All right.
All right.
Not that much.
There you have the main event lightweight bout. Both Boston Nick and Big Mo over on the side of Poirier, and our man Clint taking the over 2.5 on the alternative line. Over 2.5, and that's at -125. Rodrigo Mello says Mickey Gall will surprise Perry. Let's talk about first your favorite look on the main card from each of you. And then we will go into the question that Matthew S. dropped earlier on the show, and again, just a few minutes ago, and I will drop that. So we're two things. So first off, we are going to go to favorite look on the main card. Let's start with my man, Boston Nick. What's your favorite look here on this main card?
-110, Dustin Poirier inside the distance. My man's
Dustin
getting it done.
Poirier inside the distance. All right. My man Clint, star of the Die Hard MMA podcast, favorite look on this main card.
I got to go over 2.5 rounds in the main event there, Jimmy. It's my only bet. It's my only look so far on the main card. I will try to find some more, though, on my Total Madness show later in the week when I break down the totals for every single fight.
By the way, Clint, I let you have that over 2.5. I knew you were going to bet it. I know it was your best bet, so I wanted to be nice.
Would have been a real dick move. It's my only bet on the entire main card, man.
I like our Poirier bet too.
Omar Darwood says, smart bet, Clint. We are going to go over your guys' shows moving forward throughout the week because you got some hot ones coming up. But let's go to our man, Big Mo's best look on the main card.
I think the most obvious, so I'll give you just a two. You know what I'm saying? Just real quick, we got Mike Perry. If I got to pick one, Mike Perry inside the distance. He's finishing Gall. You know, if you want to sprinkle round 2, round 3 to get it real spicy, he's going to finish Gall. But if you want to throw a little parlay piece, I think Woodson's the future. I think Woods is going to come out, put on a lot of volume, going to put on a show. You know, I know his odds are going to be crazy, but maybe throw, you know what? Hey, no. As I was saying that line's not out. Boom, Clint's right. It's probably going to be like -800. Not going to get enough juice on it in case it messes up. Hey, just Mike Perry inside the distance.
Okay. All righty. There, Mike Perry inside the distance. Diamond Poirier inside the distance from our Boston Nick, and Clint over 2.5 in the main event. So Matthew S. said, give us a lock on this card. If you had a free $1,000 to put on one fighter to win.
Can we do this together? Can we come up with this together maybe? What do you want to do?
No, one fighter is what Matthew S. wanted to hear. $1,000 on one fighter to win. Not an easy question because there are, you know, do you want to put $1,000 on a -300 or 400 favorite? I mean, that'll be up to your gambling decisions from our great cappers here on odds.com's breakdown of UFC Fight Night Vegas 4. And Prince of the City Woodson's opponent is Yakima's finest, and that's tough. Yakima is just littered with superstar after superstar. Yakima's finest. Julian Juicy J Rosa, Prince of the City. That's who Woodson's fighting. Julian Juicy J Rosa. All right. If you had $1,000 to bet on one fighter, this question coming to us from Matthew S. $1,000 put on one fighter to win, preliminary card or main card, whom would it be? Let's go with our man Clint, star of the Die Hard MMA podcast first. $1,000, one fighter, who would it be?
Don't you say it. Don't you say it.
I mean, if I only get to $1,000 and I got to play it straight on somebody, Jimmy.
Don't you say it.
I'm going to head on back to the preliminary card.
Don't say it.
He's going.
If I got to take a long shot at it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to double down on my best bet for the main card and say, turn that grand into 2,200. Roll the dice on the big dog that's got an opportunity to knock his opponent out, has a great shot at winning the fight. I would take my shot. I will stand. I will plant my flag. I'm rolling with Khama Worthy.
Wow.
You know I'm going with.
Wow. A big dog there. I'm sure that has my man Matthew S. going, holy shit. All right. Big Mo, $1,000 on one fighter to win. Who would it be?
You know, you could throw it on, you know, a pretty big favorite, just, make you a little bit of profit, but that's not what we're here for. It's called gambling for a reason, brother. I'm taking Daukaus for that submission. Let's go ahead and throw that juice on it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what we would make on that, but I think Daukaus is going to win. I think he is better in the grappling department. And just like my man Clint said, I think he's going to roll into maybe like an arm triangle, something of that nature. I see him smashing it.
Wow. First two looks with a G are making big dog bets. That's incredible. Nick, now the pressure's on because these guys are on big dogs. Man.
Nick's going Woodson.
Okay. It's Zalal.
Nice. I could have stolen it, Nick. I could have stolen it.
I know. I thought you were going to, bro. I really did. I thought you were going to get me right in the old gooch. But yeah, it's Zalal. I mean, I locked him in at plus 105. You can get him at what, minus 115-ish, right around now. Yeah, right on that. Yeah, give or take a few, even a little bit less in some books. But yeah, I like Zalal here to win straight.
Wow. That's very, very interesting. So all of our cappers on not putting that $1,000 on any big favorites. Nick on Zalal, and then we have Clint on Worthy and Big Mo on Daukaus.
Jimmy, can I just say, one of the reasons why I love rocking these dogs on these low-level cards is the lines are always inflated. They're always way too wide. There's tons of value on these underdogs. People just don't realize when it comes to fighting. You're locking a couple of human beings in a cage, and only one of them gets to walk out with that money. They're fighting tooth and nail for it. And when you've got a favorite who's like minus 125, and people go, oh, hey, that's the right side. And then everybody else piles on. And now that favorite is minus 200. There's so much opportunity on these big, juicy dog lines. And we had 7 underdogs come through last weekend. The dogs are barking, folks.
Yep.
I like it. Clint, you have a big week ahead of you. Can you let our guys, the cappers, great cappers in the chat, know what your plans are for the rest of the week?
So I will be filming my Total Madness show where I go over the overs and unders of this entire fight card, 1.5 rounds, 2.5 rounds, and I will break the card down again, giving you my leans as to which way I think it's going to go, if we can find any additional bets or action for y'all. And then on Friday, right after I sit my butt down and watch those weigh-ins happen, I will do my weigh-in recap show. This will be the 3rd time I've done that show. And Jimmy, we have pointed out 2 massive upsets in the last couple of weeks based on that weigh-in show. I've been able to spot a couple fighters that have looked just absolutely awful, and we've made money fading them because of it. That'll be out on Friday, so make sure you keep an eye out for both of those. And as always, let's roll.
I love it. Big Mo, you and Nick are up to big things this week. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Oh, yeah. Hey, I'll give you a little taste, and I'll let old Nicholas give you a little taste. So Fridays, we do this show called The Final Weigh-In, kind of what my man Clint does, but we're going to do it later in the evening. Hey, are you doing it in the morning or in the evening? You doing it in the morning weigh-ins or the afternoon weigh-ins? Or is there an afternoon weigh-ins right
It's now? Just the morning weigh-ins, but I do it like I do it like at lunch, like right after the weigh-ins are over. I put my thoughts down real quick. It's short, it's compressed. These boys break it down a whole lot more in depth and go live to hang out with y'all. So you get a little taste of both worlds with both our shows.
Yeah. Friday, we're bringing somebody new on. A lot of people might know him. A lot of people might not. MMA Prediction Guru. Go check his YouTube channel out. Great at breaking down picks. Super analytic. Super just detailed. Place big money on. He's kind of the one that got me start thinking about Daukaus. And then he started talking. I started digging into it, and I like what I saw. But he's jumping on the odds team. He'll be with us Friday. Saturday, these fights we're talking about, we're going to be watching them live right here, all right? And what we do, we live bet the whole time. We're talking overs, unders, parlays. Should we take them? Let's get this in before this, that, the third. We've had 255 live people in here tonight. Super shout out to every single one of y'all. Y'all could have been anywhere on this Tuesday, but y'all are rocking with us here on Odds. But, hey, those 255 people, we're going to be here Friday, Saturday as well. You got Clint shows. So, hey, y'all show up, show out. Let's make some money. I don't know what Nicholas wants to add on to it. He has.
I do have some add on, actually. I do.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't give it all away, Nicholas. So,
I just got final confirmation. Jared Gordon will be joining us live 4:30 for the pre-show before the fight as we roll into the main card to interview him on his fight night against Chris Fishgold. So. That being said, hope you guys tune in. Jared Gordon's a kick-ass dude, and yeah, we're gonna break it down a little bit on this fight on Fight Island.
And I know a lot of y'all know how the bag rolls. The bag rolls 6, 7, 8, 17 hours. We do the same thing for that UFC card. Just like Nick said, 30 minutes before start time, we're rolling. Talking any final bets we want to lock in right there, but we're locking in bets all night. We're live betting this baby all night. Last week, your boy live betted Miss Robertson by submission. She got it with like 20-something seconds left. We made a nice little flip on that. So I know maybe we didn't throw out just, boom, this is how it's going. This is what we're betting because, guys, we got a long week ahead. We got to see what's going to happen on the scales. You never know. Mike Perry might go off the rocker crazy. So we got to watch all that stuff. Then we'll put it together Friday, Saturday. Hope to see y'all there.
Nelson just pulled out, so you know what I mean. Joey NeRosa just filled in. These are the things we gotta look at.
I learned that right now. I just learned that, and I had to get on the fight. But Juicy J sucks so bad.
Pretty easy. And then we head over to Fight Island. So we're gonna have giant weeks of shows at Fight Island. Very exciting. And my old flame Rose is fighting. I was so in love with her until Pete Loshak said that means you're in love with River Phoenix, and then I could no longer find any.
Ruined it.
I could no longer find any.
Killed you. Oh.
Yeah, he ruined it. We have nothing without these great cappers in the chat. Thank you guys so much for rolling with us. Your insights are so spectacular, so sharp. Give a big shout out Leo Leon, Zippy Like Zippers, Omar Darwood, Connor McLaughlin, Timothy Topher, Eric Roberts, Sports Gambling Daily, Oscar Gutierrez, Valverde, Matthew S., Gabriel Killian, Timothy Topher, F. Carrillo, Just My 2 Cents, Cynthia Paniagua, Eric Roberts, Game Day, Stephen H. Green, Prince of the City, Mark Unkefer, Bob Taylor, Genova, Quincy Brown, Jeff D., Scott C., all you guys, Tank Abbott, Quincy Brown, MMA Locker Room, Brandon Williams, Newbie YT. Thank you guys so much for your insights and your humor, and you guys make this fun. So a big thank you on behalf of these incredible cappers in the chat, whom you can see all week breaking down this UFC card. Big Mo, thank you so much. Boston Nick, my man, thank you. Clint Star, the Diehard MMA podcast, thank you so much. Please subscribe to our YouTube page right here. Follow us on Twitter, odds110. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and thank you. Check us out, odds.com. And get paid on Saturday night. That's the most important thing. Get that cash. See you guys for the rest of the week. Much love. Oh.